Good morning, boys. So we are gonna kick things off, obviously shoulder day. So I haven't done that for a while, I'm not gonna lie, but I used to start the day with some sort of presses, and then I was doing front raises, and then I was doing side lats, and then some sort of shoulder movement. I don't think I did any the rear delts back then, but yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while, to be honest. So look, kicking things off, I'm gonna start with side lats, then we're gonna do some presses. I don't know exactly what kind of presses. It could be dumbbells, most likely dumbbells, but it could be the Smith press as well, because why not? And then some side lats again, and then some rear delts, and then that should be enough. 4 exercises total should be good enough. So kicking things off, obviously we're going to start with the cables. I'm going to do a set and then just talk through it, pretty much. Okay. So that was around 12 to 14 reps an arm. So a couple of things with I was about to say shoulder presses. Well, these are not shoulder presses. A couple of things with side lats. If you do cables, which is obviously a very good alternative for a couple of reasons. Dumbbells, I'm not a big fan of anymore, unless it's kind of like a 45-degree semi-full arm movement, then that's effective in my opinion. But the typical, it ain't working. Not as good. And the reason is, well, with this one specifically, couple of tips. This, the place where the actual cable is coming off should be at the same height as your grip. So around here. The sort of reasoning behind it is that the tension remains on the targeted muscle all the time. So obviously that's exactly what you want to do, especially for muscle growth. Time under tension is very important at all times. And then obviously you don't need to go full wrong, you can just stop that and that will be good enough. I mean, the other thing, there aren't really any other sort of tips and tricks that I can give, other than the fact that if you're doing side lats, pinky has to be up, has to be facing up. If you're doing more front delts, thumb has to be facing up. It's kind of like the typical sort of tips and tricks there, but that's pretty much it. The reason that I switch cables is, I don't know, dumbbells, side lats and dumbbells don't feel as good sometimes. It's also where the resistance is. So when you're down here, there isn't a lot of resistance because obviously gravity works that way. Which what I'm saying is it takes away from the actual muscle that you are targeting, which is the side lat. Whereas with this, when I'm down here, pretty much have all the resistance here, which is again exactly what I want to do. So yeah, just a couple of reasons why I choose the exercise that I choose. If I was to do a shoulder day, I would focus more on side lats, maybe some sort of press, so kind of like this part here, so front delts, maybe a little bit of upper chest as well. But yeah, I mean, presses, like free weight presses, they're not as effective as people say they are. I'm telling you now, they're not. They cause a lot of fatigue. They target the shoulders, but they target a variety of other muscles as well. So when you say the shoulder, it's like, well, which part of the shoulder? and most of the times is front delt, side lats, upper chest, triceps. So it's like there's a bunch of other muscles that are actually involved and are helping you do the move, which is obviously not as efficient as if you could just target one muscle group. And even if it's a little bit of a, you do side lats and then there's a little bit of front delts as well, that's fine. That's way better than using triceps and using a bunch of other muscles. Engaging your core if you're doing free weight shoulder presses with the bar, obviously you need to be stable and engage your core and all that. So that also builds up a ton of fatigue, which is not really justified if you think that your shoulders are the size of the size that they are. You know, that varies from person to person, obviously, but yeah, follow all this reasoning. It's kind of like I would focus on side lats more. 2 exercises on side lats is good, especially if you're going to do one shoulder day a week. And then from there, I would just do just a couple of sets of presses. But the way that I'm going to do presses is I'm going to focus on front delts and upper chest at the same time, keeping with the theme of training chest once, yes, but also training chest a little bit on other days. Although I'm doing chest back, shoulders, arms, legs. I'm not training shoulders once a week because obviously when I do chest, I engage my shoulders. And obviously when I do shoulders, I will engage my chest just a little bit. It's not the main targeted muscle, but you're still engaging it. Now, with that being said, I'm going to do the second set here. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Good enough. Right, that's it. Uh, uh, oh. 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 Okay. I'm actually going to do one more set here and then move to do some presses. All right, last one here. Oh. Cool, right. I'm gonna do some shoulder presses now, and I'm gonna talk through them once I actually set everything up. Right, shoulder presses then. I'm gonna do the first set and then kind of like talk through it. The setup, why I do what I do, and so on and so forth. But let's do the first one first, and go from there. All right. It's supposed that you. All right, so I don't know how many reps I actually did here. It was around 6, I think, 6, 7. I might have to look the video back or just judge based on the last set. So, a couple of things about shoulder presses is I briefly talked about in the beginning, but shoulder presses are primarily aimed to make you strong, not necessarily big. Now, strength and size are actually linked to a degree, but I mean, look, if you want to become the biggest you can be, you're not going to also be the strongest you can be. And vice versa, if you want to become the strongest you can be, you're not going to become the biggest. Now, the nuisance there is that you can become the biggest, but you're going to be fat, is what I'm saying. Your muscles are not going to be as big while you're lean. While you go for aesthetics, your muscles are not going to be as big as they could have been if you were doing bodybuilding, because it's a different style of training. You need to hold more body fat to be really strong, or the strongest you can be. It's just a bunch. It's very, very different. But for bodybuilding specifically, for building big muscles while you keep a relatively low percentage of body fat on your body, shoulder presses are really not the best exercise to do. And the reason is they take up a lot of energy. They target multiple muscles at a time: triceps, front delts, side lats, and so on and so forth. They, if you're doing them standing up, they even you have to obviously keep your balance. So there's a little bit of axial fatigue building up. Obviously, you engage your core so you don't fall. So all that builds fatigue faster than some other exercises that could perhaps target the front delts or the rear, the side delts, or even the real delts, really, without adding all that kind of unnecessary fatigue on your system while you do them. Now, the reason that I do them is, look, I haven't done them for a while. I do like compound-like movements or compound movements like deadlifts, squats, bench pressing with free weights, doing shoulder presses or overhead presses, whatever you want to call them. I actually do enjoy doing these exercises. Now, I try to be relatively smart with them. I don't put a ton of weight. I really focus on that deep stretch of the muscle. And then, as I said, the weight is not as heavy as I can possibly lift, obviously. But time under tension has to be there. The stretch has to be there. And as you can probably see, the bench is on an incline, just a small incline. So it's not straight, it's not a 90-degree turn, it's kind of like that, like the second closest step on the actual bench to secure it. So you can be on a bit of an incline. And the reason is, if you are lean backwards a little bit, you start engage more upper chest. And I want that. Like this is done purposefully, so I can engage even more muscles than usual. But upper chest is something that I focus on quite a lot. And I think every single person watching this channel should focus on a lot, because it's one of the muscles that you don't really train through day-to-day basis. You train your lower chest and you train your mid pecs, your pecs here, but you don't really train that upper bit. So focus on that as much as you can is definitely a good advice. But that's why I do shoulder presses the way that I do them. That's why I'm not sitting straight 100%, because I don't want to just target the shoulders. I do want to target my upper chest a little bit. And then obviously the third exercise during the workout is going to be another exercise for side lats, because I want to grow them. In my opinion, they're a very important muscle to make you look like a bodybuilder, like a big person. And then maybe as a fourth exercise, we're going to do a little bit of a rear delts as well, just to top it all up. But yeah, with that being said, I'm going to do the second set. I'm going to start the second set. And I don't know if I'm going to do 3 sets or 4 sets. What I might do actually, I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 3 sets with the 30s, and then I'm going to go back down to 22 and a half, 25s, and do a drop set for the 4th set. So let's get things going here. Oh, okay, good enough. So I think that was like around 8 reps. So we're going to do one more set without weight and then do a drop set. Just make sure the camera's out of the way. Are we good enough? So it's the third set with the 30s, and then 4th set is going to be a drop set, as I said. We'll figure out the weight once we're done with this set, though. So let's do it. Oosh. 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 Right, so we're gonna do the last set, which is obviously a drop set. I went down to 22 and a half. I feel like that's a good way to do some good, clean, slow, controlled reps. So let's start the set. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so we're gonna do some side lats again. I think I'm gonna use dumbbells for that one, but I'm gonna tweak it a little bit. It's not gonna be the usual side lats with dumbbells. We're just gonna change it a bit. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about in just a sec. So let's Let's start the side lats here. I think we're gonna do 3 sets. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Just like before, I'm gonna do one set and then I'm gonna talk through it. But obviously, there are a couple of differences compared to the usual side lats that you've probably seen everywhere. Let's do them, man. Oh, oh, cool. Right, so a couple of differences with the usual ones, as you probably just saw. We are starting from a different position, so most people start from here, and then they do this. It's not as effective because down here there is literally nothing happening on your shoulders. Gravity, the resistance is not there. But if you start from there, and start going up, then it's obviously very, very different because there is more resistance there. You keep the resistance on the targeted muscle, and then that helps. Sorry, it's actually police here for some reason. Just 2 police officers just walked in, looked around, left. Don't know why. They weren't after me, so all good. Anyway, back to side lats. So starting here is actually much, much more effective. If you can go up all the way to and up here, I mean, up there, I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference. I don't think it will, but for me, it just feels a little bit, I don't know. It just doesn't feel very good, so I don't do it. So I stop around there, and then obviously control the way down, stop there, repeat. That's probably a very, very good way to build side lats with dumbbells if you don't have access to cables or anything like that. So 2 more sets, and then we're going to do some rear delts, and then we're done. Right, let's do the second set. Again, just pay a little bit of attention on my arms, like where they stop, where they go, and then again where they stop, and obviously the tempo and the control on the descent, which is very, very important, especially for muscle growth. But yeah, if you have dumbbells and you want to do some side lats, do this, because it's better than this. Trust me, it's better than this. Also, try not to swing, try not to use a lot of momentum, try not to like use your knees to generate momentum. Just stand still on a fixed position, try not to bend your knees at all. I mean, you can have them bend at the beginning, but just try not to bend them and then straighten them. Don't do that. And just do the exercise. So we start from here, go up, control the descent, stop at the same spot, so around 45 degrees, and then up. Oh, yeah, couldn't lock that one. The last rep, that's pretty good. One more. Let's get the last one out of the way and then see if we can do some rear delts. Should be able to. Oh, okay. Oh, right. So some rear delts. Now I don't usually do them because, well, quite frankly, they're a bit of a waste of time if you do back twice a week. Because obviously when you pull, any sort of pull movement is really engaging the rear delts anyway. But because obviously we're not going to do that, we're not going to do 2 back days a week, I might as well just throw them in. And, obviously to make this worth my while, just coming down to the gym, just do some stuff at the very least. So let's, 4 sets should be all we need. Well, let's wrap it up.
Next 2 days. Go quick enough. What are you doing? Yeah, great.
Cool. 3 more. Ooh. Okay. Right. 2 more. Oh, sorry, no. Actually, 1 more and then we can call it a day. Right. Last set then. And then we can call it a day. Ooh. Ah. 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 Woo. Cool. That's that. That's. Sorry, just had to pause the video. So yeah, that's that. That's it pretty much. Pretty good workout. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm mostly gonna keep doing it for a couple of weeks just to make sure that I, obviously still enjoy it. But what I'm saying is, I don't know if if it is as effective as it would have been if I were to do something else. If I were to do a little bit of chest or a bit more chest. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. But yeah, I mean, shoulder-wise, yeah, I do have a pump. Obviously, I do feel my shoulders are sore now, and so it's all good. It's all good. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to come in tomorrow and do an arm day, but I think I'm going to take the day off tomorrow and then do arms and legs or legs and arms. It would depend on the day, really. But for now, I think that's it pretty much. So I'm going to see you not tomorrow, the day after, with either arms or legs. Peace.